New Year, Kansas City. Good to be back here in the studio in the new year 2013. Wow, last year I sat and watched everything that transpired last year, 2013, and we just really got a lot going on right now. And Global One Entertainment, we're here to help do kingdom building. Also, we promote local artists here, and we help elevate the local businesses here. What I found out when we started this company is that the local artists were not getting a recognition here. They might have been known abroad and play abroad, and they have units for sale and have great ministry. Some of them are actually on their second and third CD, and they just were not getting the recognition in the city. So Global One Entertainment started this show to actually promote those artists, and God put it on our hearts to turn it into a talk show and to start letting pastors teach and preach and take call-ins, and because a lot of times people don't have church homes, or they might not discuss issues with their family members and need someone to talk to and need to get a message on certain things in their lives. And we're going to hope we can be a avenue for that here. And I'm blessed today to have in the studio. I was out last week, and my pastor at my church, she sat in on my show. She just got home from Africa the end of last year, 6 weeks. I want to say hello to our pastor, Bishop Saundra McFadden Weaver's in the studio.
Good afternoon, Brother Anthony. It's
yes,
a joy to be here.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And we really appreciate you finding time in your schedule to come out and help Global One Entertainment elevate and do this kingdom building. And we had thought to our listening audience that we want to start talking about how important family is. Myself, I'm 50. I'll be 53 next year, and I was born and raised in the 60s and 70s. Both parents are working parents. My dad was a sanitation worker. Mom was a 50-year nurse, and we were still in the ghetto, but we had, they took good care of us. We were still in the urban area in Detroit, Michigan, and but the thing was, the family values were so strong back then. That was just yesterday for me, and it just seems like a generation stopped transferring information and the great habits and the great things that made our parents and grandparents who they were and helped mold us to who we are to this day. And we've got to get back to that, being family, and it was on my heart to bring that to the listening audience and let Pastor Bishop Weaver help us and teach us and give us some guidance on that. And so our subject, we're gonna run this for a few weeks and see if we can help some folks. And but we're gonna talk about how important family is in the eyes of God, and how important marriage is, and how to deal with relationships in these last days and in these days to be right with God and try and help bring the kingdom in your own life. And so we want to let Bishop take it from here and kind of let us know a few things on those subjects.
Well, thanks a lot, Brother Anthony, and good afternoon to our listening audience. Such a joy to be here. As we talk about family, let's first of all, I think we should agree that it is something missing in today's world in so many of our homes, and we have to figure out, identify what that is, and then find a way to put it back.
Yes.
But I want to just share with you just a little coined phrase that was given to me by one of my friends that are authors, and that is that a strong family home has to begin with a strong marriage. And we have to understand what the home is. And when we talk about a moral home, we have to understand that the H stands for heaven on earth, the O stands for ordered and organized by men, the M stands for managed and maintained by women, and the E stands for experience, everlasting peace and joy. And really, that's what the home should be all about.
Yes.
It should be the safe haven for the children. It should be the place of rest for mom and dad.
Yes.
It should be the place of togetherness where unconditional love dwelleth for all of us. And in order to establish it, we have to understand first and foremost that in order to have a strong home, or a home filled with moral value, we have to have a godly home. Always recognize that from the book of Genesis, the second chapter, we understand that the reason God made woman was because he did not want man to be alone. and to be lonely. And then later they receive the instruction to be fruitful and to multiply. So we understand that the family is the place whereby birth takes place, and it is not just physical birth. But when you are birthing spiritually and birthing mentally, parents have to understand that the wisdom that you impart to your children, the attitude and the aptitude that you impart to your children is what's going to influence them for the rest of their lives.
Sure. I've come to know for a fact that what the parent imposes on kids as an example, the best learning tool the kids get, even good and bad, from us are an example. My parents were so down to earth. I'm not trying to say the other parents, I'm trying to exclude and put my parents up on a pedestal, but the people of that time period, their age group, was just great people. And my parents didn't even send me to church when I was young. They would send me to church on Sunday and Wednesday, but it wasn't a forceful thing. They didn't go to church much, but they were great people because they lived by the rules of God, of how they were raised, and they never pushed me one way or other towards any religion, and no type of but what they lived and what they did, and family is so important. And for me, I found out I'm blessed with my wife. My anniversary's coming up in 4 years, and I had never been married before, and my mom had passed '05, and I asked God for a wife, and He showed me who she was, and I studied her, and I came and married her here from Detroit. But the only thing that I've noticed, the best thing to do is you always have to put God first. And see, a lot of times that'll be an imbalance. Like the woman to be a praying woman, but the man to get mad and go out in the street. The man to be a praying woman, or the woman to go out in the street. But you put God first and pray on things, He straightens it out. I've tested it, and something else I want to say. I just want to interject, and then I'll let you. We'll continue with that. Is that people, when you marry someone, the reason why I feel this is so important, guys, you're marrying a total stranger. You have to show God love to somebody you have no kin to them, no blood or relations, and you're actually marrying another human being that's a stranger. So you have to practice all of God's attributes on your spouse, and that's what makes great people and great families. And wow, this is just a good subject matter. We're going to take some call-ins going over the next week or so, and we're going to let Sister Bishop take this into a couple of different phases. But yeah, I just wanted to say that, and yeah, that is so important. Yes, ma'am.
Let me give out that phone number if you'd like to call, ask us a question, or even join into the discussion. Phone number to dial if you're in the local area is 816-576-7234. That's 576-7234. Or if you're outside the 816 area code, it's simply 1-800-924-3177. 1-800-924-3177. Keep in mind, as Brother Anthony was saying, when we deal with this piece that we refer to as marriage, we have to understand that the contract that we enter into, and when I say contract, I'm not just speaking of the piece of paper that you sign or the license that you obtain from the courthouse, but the contract is an agreement between two people, and a successful marriage requires falling in love many times, always with the same person. You're going to fall in love over and over and over again, and that is because expressly you have to find within oneself an ability to love unconditionally.
Mm-hmm.
Unconditionally.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And so when you love someone unconditionally, you have to have attributes like tolerance and forgiveness and godly presence and godly leadership. Because only God is unconditional love. And so without Him as the center of the relationship is destined to failure.
Yes. And, I say, and I'm going to try and help with this, and I know that our church, Community Fellowship Church of Jesus Christ, is going to start a book club, and I got some other things the Global One has plans for to help start back putting the pride back in the kids and teaching them about their history and teaching them about being family and just the black perspective of coming up in the urban area in certain situations and coming up as black people here in America and how important that structure is. And so we're gonna run this ongoing for a few weeks here, and we're hoping Sister Bishop be able to come in. If not, she'll be able to assign someone to come in, and we're going to discuss this for a few weeks. Well, listen, right now I want to take a moment also to say that we are really glad to be here. We're in our 14th week. We've got a lot of artists that we've handled, and the thing with that, I don't mean to change the subject, but I was telling folks, I said, you have to realize these young folks that are trying to teach this word, and they're doing it through their music ministry. They all come from different churches, but they always can come together and do events and do shows and take their ministry all over the country and different places, and they all come from different churches, and the unification of that is what Global One is about. You know, we're not exclusive, we're inclusive, and we're going to be looking for other artists who need some promotional services, and we'll give you the information for that. And we're going to let Sister Bishop go take us back into a few more words pertaining to our subject today.
Well, as we talk about this thing that we call family, or we call a home, and we call marriage, I just want to put some things out there so that over the next few weeks, as we carry on these discussions, you will recognize the place where you fit in, so you can jump in. And some of the language I'd like to share with you is this: marriage is a spiritual, emotional, social, mental, and physical union. And the Word of God supports it clearly. Spiritually, as is often said, they are one in destiny. Emotionally, and the two hearts beating together as one. And you can look for that in 1 Corinthians 7 and 33 and 34. We understand that when two people come together, the Word of God challenges us and says two cannot walk together except they agree. And so biblically, people would always marry within their tribe or within their culture. In today's world, we have multiracial and multicultural marriages. Does it mean that the marriage cannot work? No, because if the two people come to that basis of unconditional love, that basis of God, that basis of righteousness, that basis of forgiveness, the ability to lose pride and bind their forces together and become one, it's something that they have to set a goal to work at.
Sure.
It doesn't just happen. You got to practice it.
Yes, that is so true. I'm a young I'm 53, but I'm a young newlywed, you know, of just 4 years, and I'm just really enjoying it. God gave me a great wife, my wife Star Neely, and you know, and even in her, I know that she has attributes of her grandmother who raised her, Jessie B. Washington. But that woman, the women of those days that raised us, they just had great values, and that pours over into the person's character and to what they grow up to like and dislike, and you know, it's just a great thing. And then see, you know, I notice also in God's eyes, when you go into a marriage and putting God first and unconditionally tending this person, that's going to roll over to the community, because you know, you're going to feel the same about your neighbor. This is what Jesus told us to feel. The prophets told us how we're supposed to care about our brother as though we care about ourselves. And you know, if you're starving, I've got a bowl of beans, you get half of my beans and help them. You know, and it's just a thing of that's going to roll right all over into society. So I understand that foundation that God has set up with the family and with marriage. So that is just wonderful.
Well, a friend of mine who has gone on to be with the Lord, a Baptist pastor, was a good friend of mine, Reverend McDavid. I believe he and his wife were married about 70 years before death separated them. But at one of their anniversary celebrations, I was seated at the dais with him. And I spoke to him and said, Reverend McDavid, tell me the secret. And he said, well, he says, Pastor, he said, when my wife and I got married, we didn't have much. He said, we only had one place setting. And we didn't have a lot to eat, but we had enough. He said, and my wife and I at that time would eat dinner on the same plate and use the same silverware, so we had every meal together.
Wow.
And he said, now we're 65 years later, the Lord has been good to me. He said, I've built 3 or 4 homes. I have 2 cars presently. Man. I'm well educated. My wife and I have raised our children, and all is well in the home, and we're prosperous. He said, but guess what? He said, my wife and I still eat off the same plate.
Oh my
And
God,
beloved,
I
that
like
was
that
such
one.
a deep word to me. So
Yes,
let me
yes.
just
like
send
that.
that out there
Sure.
for those of you that are trying to find a way of good communication and laying a good foundation in your marriage. Do understand that there is a key to eating off the same plate, and that doesn't just mean physically.
Sure, sure.
You know, it doesn't just mean take a bite off the same drumstick or take the same bite of sweet potatoes at the same time.
Yes.
But when you eat off the same plate, it means that both husband and wife are going to be spiritually and mentally and emotionally fed on the same diet.
Sure.
You're going to raise your marriage up like it is a baby itself.
Sure.
And you're going to nurture it and you're going to feed it. One writer said these words: the meaning of marriage should be looked upon in this manner. The M stands for make Christ the foundation and head of your home. Mind not only things of itself, but things that will keep your home happy.
Yeah.
The A stands for accept each other's differences. Anchor your life and home on Christ. The R stands for resist all attacks to destroy your home.
Yeah.
Respect your spouse. And I'm going to save the rest of the letters for next week. What about that?
Yes.
But I'm telling you, beloved, there's nothing more great than a happy home and a home that is flourishing spiritually, where mom and dad love each other.
Sure.
And are able to show and display their affections in front of the children using terms of endearment. How did we get to a place or come to a culture in the world where it's acceptable that parents speak so violently to each other in front of their children?
My God, they doing it on TV now. It's entertainment now. The devil is a liar. My God,
Well,
I'm
if you let the devil entertain you, then what do you expect?
my God, that's right. Oh my God. Well, you know, Sister Bishop, we're really glad to be a part of your church. My wife and I joined Community Fellowship Church of Jesus Christ. I guess it's been about 4 or 5 months now, and this is a great woman of God. I had the option to talk with quite a few pastors, and I have joined my church here, and I felt it was actually the best thing right now to help with putting this message out is with a great woman of God, such as yourself, Bishop Saundra McFadden Weaver. We're really glad that you came in with us, and is going to be part of hosting our show, and we're going to keep delivering this message and helping folks the best that we can. We'll do some call-ins next week. We don't have a half hour right now, Global One Entertainment. We're working on an hour and some sponsorship for what we're doing here. And if you want to find out about some of Global One services, Global One Entertainment, you can go to our website at www.acn-global.ws, and you can contact us in that manner, and our email is acnealy, ACNEALY @hotmail. Now we're going to continue this. And as Sister Bishop has said, we're going to be bold enough to start talking about dating and courtship, family planning, sexuality, childbirth, raising children in the home, and single parents, and how to prepare yourself for marriage in God's eyes. And this is just going to be interesting to start off the new year, to try and help bring families together and let folks start not just looking at each other as things, but looking at each other from a godly perspective, and understand how important we are to each other. We want to go into a song. I want to play one of the artists, a friend of mine. I hope he's doing better, and I'll look for your call if you're listening today, and I'll check on you when we get out of the studio today. But I'm going to listen to one of Billy Bird's tracks from his CD, You Are, and let's enjoy that for a moment, and we'll be right back.
Hold on.
It seems you're tired of waiting and even getting frustrated. You're at the end of your ropes and flat running out of patience, because you feel you're not where you ought to be. But that's just a trick of the enemy. But I have a remedy. But you gotta take some time out for you to see that Jesus is the answer, and He can cure any cancer. like the woman with the issue of blood. One touch and she was cleansed by his love. So no matter what you're going through, hold on to the faith God has given you, and it won't be long. Hold on, hold on. Don't give up, don't give in. Don't give up. If you just fight, it's worth a fight. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Don't give up, don't give up, don't give up. Someone went to church today and went with an attitude, barely speaking to some, and treating others so rude. Then someone testified about the goodness of the Lord. Said even though we lost our home, Jesus always seems to open other doors. So if you're the one with an attitude, know that it's just trials that you're going through. And we glory in tribulations, know that tribulations work in patience. And patience brings experience, and experience there is hope. So never give up, but hold on, hold on. Don't give up, don't give in. Don't give up, if you just fight, it's worth a fight. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Don't give up, don't give up, don't give up. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Don't give up, don't give up. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Don't give up, don't give up.
Yeah,
Hold
Kansas
on
City,
to the
Kansas
faith
City.
God
That's
has
some
given
great gospel artists here. I mean, my God, there's so much talent here, and I'm just elated and honored to help serve these artists. We're going to be doing some interviews this year on some of these artists here coming out of Kansas City, recording artists, and that was Mr. Billy Bird. And yeah, so we're back in the studio. Our time is almost up, and we want to say we really appreciate a special welcome to Sister Bishop coming in 2013 with Global Entertainment to help develop this talk show so that we can be an avenue to help folks that listen to the radio that, you know, that's looking for a message that sometimes they can't get from home or from their spouse, and they might not go to church. So we're going to try and help, and you definitely are invited to come over to our church. We're at 3838 Emmanuel Cleaver off of 39th Street, Community Fellowship Church of Jesus Christ, of course led by our pastor, Bishop Saundra McFadden Weaver, and also here at KGGN. Now, we're online here also, so this is not just a tri-state radio station. Remember, you can listen to KGGN live on the internet, and that's at www.kgnam.com. So wherever you're at, you're able to tune in. And Sister Bishop, we want to tell you thanks, and we're going to try and get you back in here next week, and we want to continue this, and we really appreciate you today.
Oh, it's a joy to be here, Brother Anthony. Just want to close out my remarks today by reminding people, according to Ephesians 5:21 through 33, always remember that marriage was designed by God to give you the greatest human happiness possible. Think about it today. It's the origin of the family.
Sure, yes, thank you. Well, we've got a few minutes here. We're going to run one more track and take you on out. Let's listen to, let's put one of the artists on, let's see, who else? Let's put Drive Old Satan Away. My friends that performed for us last year, they said they're going to be on some shows for us this year, the Gospel Unifics, and we're going to listen to that, and we're going to take you on out to the end of our show, and we'll be back here next Saturday, God willing, at 2:30, and we're going to continue this conversation and do some call-ins, so we'll look for you here at 890 KGGN with Global One Entertainment Talk Show, and we'll see you next week.
Well, give us another hand. Listen. Children were in the fiery furnace. Daniel was in the lion den. Oh yes they were. the fiery furnace. Daniel was in the lion den. Oh yes, they were. Drive old Satan away. Drive old Satan away. Come on, girl. Moses, he was leading some of God's children. Come on. Stop. Drive on Satan away.
You've been listening to Global One Entertainment with Anthony Neely. For more information, please contact us at area code 816-877-6278. That's 877-6278.